kick us off and then we can go around to anyone else.
Hello there, guys. How are we all?
I'll kick off, Mike, if I can, and then if everybody else wants to pile in, and I'll sweep up with Cymraeg, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Steve, shall I Kenneth in? Should you
Kenneth.
Well, just first of all, I've just seen the statement. Obviously, a word on Lee Halfpenny. He's had his fair share of injuries and bad luck in the past, and obviously so sad seeing that what happened early on Saturday, Steve.
Yeah, we were devastated. You know, it's the first time Lee got the ball in the game. He carried the ball back, and unfortunately, he picked up a knee injury, which requires surgery. You know, and it was very unfortunate for Lee. We were all gutted because he's such a wonderful player, as we all know, but an absolutely fantastic person. And yeah, it was a tough one for everybody concerned.
Even more so, given that he was reaching that milestone. 100 test appearances between his Wales and Lions caps.
Yeah, the guy is a fantastic professional. He's a class act, and the standards he sets in the environment and how he pushes things forward, and he's ambitious to improve all the time. And you know, when you've got a player of that manner and a person who is top quality, and you're right, it was a special milestone for a guy who's worked incredibly hard and had an amazing career, and has still got, you know, international rugby ahead of him. And you know, to have to leave the pitch so soon was unfair on him.
The prognosis is unclear. Obviously, it's very early at the moment, Steve. But I mean, he's battled back before. I mean, one remembers that injury suffered against Italy before the 2015 World Cup. That was very unlucky. So that nothing to say that he can't show the character to do that again.
Oh no, you know, one thing about Lee is he's mentally tough. He'll do everything in his control to make sure he recovers and comes back as soon as he can as well. You know, he's a superb professional. He'll tick every box from that perspective, and it'll be nice to have him back with us as soon as we can.
You brought Aneurin Owen in from the Dragons. He featured well recently in the Rainbow Cup. I mean, what about his development? The fact that he now is getting his chance.
Yeah, and it's great, you know, from his perspective to come into our environment to see how we train, how we play, our philosophies. But you know, from a personal perspective, it's great. You're looking at Aneurin to see what his skill set's like, how comfortably he is as a ball player in traffic, and how comfortable he is at playing at speed. So you know, it's a great opportunity for us as coaches, you know, for this summer series. You know, seeing a lot of young boys come in and seeing how they adapt, and having a look at their skill set, and you know, it's a great opportunity for us.
Difficult for the boys after that injury early on. What was the assessment overall, Steve, of that performance?
Listen, you know, it was our first hit out as a new group. You know, I think from a coach's perspective, from a tack perspective, you're looking to see how they drop into our shape. You know, having a new group of guys coming from you know, regions that play different formats, and obviously the Exile boys coming back in as well. So I was looking to see how they dropped into our attacking shape, and have a look what our ball movement was like. And you know, I thought you know, the second and the third quarter we were good, and you know, there's lots of positives there, but lots of learnings as well, which is what this is about. And you know, my challenge as a coach from an attack perspective is to make sure we're in a better place this week. And you know, it's going to be a good, tough challenge ahead of us, but we look forward to it.
Are these games difficult to strike a balance between one, giving opportunities, and we saw new caps on the weekend, but at the same time eager to kick on and maintain that momentum that we saw in the Six Nations?
Yeah, you know, our goal as coaches is to learn about this group of players we have. Obviously, there's a lot of new guys coming into our environment, but yes, you know, ultimately when we take the field, you know, our responsibility to that jersey and to make sure we get a positive result. But obviously we've got to learn and develop within this period, and you know, we're making sure we're going to definitely achieve that.
Newcomers featured well on the weekend, but you be mindful, obviously this is a different test altogether this time around.
Yeah, and it is a great test, and you know, we're playing against a a physical side, a side who are they came off obviously victory against New Zealand, 2 drawn games against Australia in Australia. So, they'll be feeling good about themselves as well. But, it doesn't change for us. We're back in the stadium with a crowd, with, an excellent group who are desperate to prove their value to the coaching group, and are desperate for success. So it's a great situation for us.
Just a final one from me on those newcomers. I think Wayne spoke about responsibility in terms of Ben Carter calling the line. I mean, we saw Tom Rogers getting involved, and all of them really. You must be pleased how they had an impact on the game itself.
Yeah, very much so. And we were able to give the guys coming off the bench good game time as well, good chunk of game time. And these guys have worked particularly hard with us in the 2 weeks prior to that test. And it's a special moment for these guys winning their first cap, isn't it? But the key for us as coaches is that we keep on pushing them on and keep on working hard to improve their standards. But yeah, it was refreshing to see so many youngsters do very well.
Cheers, Steve. Diolch yn fawr.
Hi, Steve. I just jump in. Just one quickly on Lee. I noticed his left thigh was quite heavily strapped going into the game. Was he carrying a bump going in, or was he okay? Or
yeah, no, he'd completed every minute of every training session we'd had. So he was in a good place, and it's just so unlucky, to first injury, first minute of the game to pick up that injury in the manner in which he did. But no, Lee was in a good place going into the game.
Can I just check on Jared Evans? Obviously missed the game on Saturday with his ankle. Is he okay? Is he available for this weekend?
Yes, he is. He's training with us this afternoon now, going into our next session, which is great. So the medical team have done a fantastic job, as has Jared in managing himself. So from our perspective, it's great that we've got our players available to us.
What do you make of the 2 fly halves that you've got at the moment? Then obviously both exciting in different ways.
So obviously we got Callum, great ball player, good at attacking the line. Jared the same. They're great attacking threats, aren't they? And we got young Ben who we've been training and running out at 10. Who's got a huge amount of natural ability. So it's great for us for the way we want to play the game. And they got great skill sets where they can ask questions of defenses, and that's how we want to play the game. But yeah, we're blessed in that position.
Yeah, and just finally we're going to speak to Callum a bit later, hopefully. Just on him, where do you see the development and the progression in his game at the top level?
Well, I think this, if you look at Callum, just from a coach's perspective, he's very, very diligent. He works incredibly hard. He has a growth mindset, so he wants to evolve and improve his game all the time. What I like is obviously Bristol play a different style, and obviously comes into us, and then we play a different style, and obviously the demands of international rugby are different. And I like the way he can adapt quickly to what we're about. So great professional, ambitious, and wants to push his standards upwards all the time, which is great.
Thanks, Steve.
Pleasure.
Steve, obviously Jonah Holmes was meant to play on the wing and moved to fullback. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, if you look at our back three, obviously we had Nick going on from the first minute, who obviously plays all his rugby in the centre, so he went onto the wing, and obviously Jonah went from the wing to the fullback. So the amount of training time we'd had in as a collective back three was limited, but I thought the boys adapted very, very well. You have noticed Jonah's had a very strong end to the season with the Dragons. His preferred position is on the wing, so in fairness to him, we had to move him the early doors, and he had limited time in the saddle there from our perspective in training, but I thought he did well. And you look at Jonah, and he's a running threat. He's strong. He's physical. And the challenge is to keep on getting more out of him, because he's got a lot of good to give, isn't he?
Do you think sort of the time with the Dragons, he really was in great form at the end? He's sort of a bit of a slow start, as you'd expect coming in coronavirus, I guess, in a new team, but starting to see the best of him.
Yeah, and I'd say we got more to come. Do you mean? And that's the good thing. Keep on pushing his standards, because when you're that good a physical threat, let's get him on the ball more often, isn't it? Do you mean? Because benefits him as an individual, but it benefits us as a team. So I like to think there's a lot more to come there.
And it's his sort of chance, I guess, isn't it? With the Lions boys away, it's sort of he's got to.
It's a huge opportunity for him. You're spot on, as it is for a number of our players, and that's exactly what we want, isn't it? We want these boys to not just play, but play well and push their standards forwards, so that when we get everybody back, we're in a real healthy situation, which is where we want to be.
Great stuff. Thanks for that.
Pleasure.
Okay, I'll